Hi, Christina. How are you?
Hey Teresa, I'm doing all right. How are you?
Good. Well, what's today?
Um, Today formerly known as President's Day.
Oh, yeah. Back when we used to have a president, but now we have a dictator?
Right. Right. I don't remember there being a King's Day or a Dictator Day.
No, no. Miss that day. Oh, well. To the good old days.
To the good old days. And hopefully sometime down the road we will return to a country of more than just one party running roughshod over the entire country.
Yes. I was thinking the other day I think it's going to happen where it's not going to be Republicans or Democrats. I think it's going to be we the people versus the millionaires or billionaires.
That's what I'm really hoping. Right now, I actually heard that Germany's party, well, one of the parties, there's a few, but their more leftist party is actually considering making it illegal to be a billionaire. And to be honest, I don't think that's such a bad idea. I mean, I have nothing against wealth. I think it's great if you have a lot of money, but if you're the richest person in the world, for the majority of the country, what good is having all that money if you're just going to run roughshod over everyone?
Yeah, I think it'd be
Your
kind of
head
boring.
freeze.
I think it'd be kind of boring to be a billionaire because where's the fun, you know? Like, you know,
I
are the
don't know.
lights
Think
gonna
of how
stay
many
on?
good things you could do in the world.
Yes. Yes. What kind of
I
good thing?
mean, we could do so many good things. So many good things in the world could be done.
Yeah, if we could
We could make this world a better place for a lot of people.
we could make a lot of this better. We could. This is, I really hope that we can kind of come to our senses. I think we're kind of in the phase of, that saying, "Alpha around and find out." Have you heard that phase?
Yeah.
Well, we're in the find out phase, and we're
Oh, yeah.
finding out hardly. Very, very fun and exciting times that we live in.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, yeah, it's more like it's more like find out you're screwed phase. But I don't think a lot of people really realize that we're there yet. I think a lot of people are just a lot of people genuinely believe that they are finding massive amounts of waste, fraud, and abuse because that's what they hear on their media. That's what they get from their memes. Um, but don't bother to
you
research the facts for themselves.
you mean that news station called Fox?
Yeah, I like to spell it FAOU. Oh, news.
Well, I
Um,
heard something really funny that I guess on Friday that they fired a whole bunch of people, and that happened to be the people that keep the atomic bomb secure.
oh God, are you serious?
Yeah, they hired them back, but this is how we have such intelligent people running the country right now. It's just unbelievable that we have the smartest people, the best of the best running the country right now.
Well, um, I don't think Trump's really running the country. I think he's just a figurehead right now. I mean, there's been times when he's been signing executive orders multiple times where he said things like, "Is that what this is? Or what's this one?" And I think they're just taking advantage of the fact that he's an old man who is in the stages of dementia, who has an axe to wield, and they're just sticking stuff in front of his face and saying, sign this, sign this. And he's their figurehead right now. And they're just getting all the things that they've been planning for years in Project 2025.
I think you're being too kind, but okay.
Well, I think it's what I'm saying is I don't think Trump is,
I know what you mean. Yeah.
I don't think he's running the show. I mean, I think he primarily ran to stay out of prison. I
Yeah.
think that's why he ran for
Yeah.
president. And the people who are really running the show right now are propping him up as their cult of personality and just using him to pass their legislation. I mean, I don't think I've ever I was actually and this I was embarrassed for Trump when he had his White House speech with Elon Musk. He was just sitting behind the desk, just he didn't look powerful. He didn't look strong. He didn't look decisive. He was basically having this unelected billionaire standing behind him, answering questions for him. Um, it's like, come on,
And the little
who
boy
elected?
telling, and his little boy, his little 4-year-old telling him to get out because you're not really the president.
That's what he said. He said, you need to go. You're not really the president.
Yeah, there was so
But yet,
many,
if you watch,
you can really take a lot from that whole interview. For first of all, growing up in a military family, my dad served for over 12 years, and having a hat indoors is so like that's not our custom. Like if you're going to the White House, first of all, the custom is to wear a suit and tie.
right.
Secondly, to walk into the Oval Office, the most important room of the nation. I mean, one of the pretty most, Senate, I would probably say is the most important, or a courtroom. I wouldn't walk into a courtroom with a hat on. I wouldn't walk in, to a church with a hat on, you know. And I can technically, yeah, I can because I'm a woman, but I still wouldn't wear a baseball hat,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, it's just so funny to see the current double standards. It's not funny, it's sad to see these double standards that are taking place. I mean, I remember when there was just a huge uproar about Obama wearing a tan suit. Oh my God, a tan suit. Good Lord. And now we've got somebody wearing a baseball cap in the Oval Office. And the thing that I find the most ironic is that when Obama was president, Trump, he was the one who started the entire birther conspiracy about Trump really being, I mean, not Trump, about Obama really being born in Africa. And therefore, he wasn't legitimate to serve. To this day, I mean, he repeated that so much that even though Obama produced his birth certificate, you probably have still hardcore Trumpers that believe to this day that Obama was not a legitimate president. And it's so funny. So now, after all that outcry about he's from Africa, now they've actually got a guy from Africa who's calling all of the shots, not a US born citizen, came
Not
here on an
elected. He wasn't
H-1B visa,
elected.
and he wasn't elected. He wasn't even elected. So it's an unelected billionaire from Africa. So, I wonder what it was really about. Possibly the color of his skin. Hmm. So it's just the hypocrisy. I just don't think that it's it's really scary where we're headed.
Yes, and it's only been a month, so we'll see what happens.
Oh my God. It hasn't even been a month. It hasn't even been a month.
No, it
Oh
hasn't
my
been.
gosh.
You know,
Wow.
Yesterday they interviewed Trump and he was at Daytona because we have so much money that we can, we have unlimited amount of money that he can just, travel the United States and go to Daytona and, spend the taxpayers' money like crazy. And a reporter said, Trump, since you've been president, gas prices have gone up, eggs have gone up. And he goes, eggs? What? Eggs? Eggs? And they're like, he goes, oh, oh. And then it finally like dawns on him what they're talking about. Like, yeah, eggs.
Like the scrambled eggs, up
Scrambled
here.
eggs. He goes, oh, that's because of the bird flu. And that happened under Joe. That happened under Joe. And, and when I was president, the first time, we had no inflation at all. And they said, well, inflation's at the highest right now. Oh, that is because of Joe. That's because of Biden. That's what's
Right.
happening here. Guess what, buddy? You are now in the Oval Office. You are now in charge. Planes are falling out of the sky. That's on your ticket now.
Yeah.
Have doubled. Gas prices have doubled. It's all on you. Cannot blame Joe anymore, can ya?
No. And I mean, what about the gas? Is there a gas flu?
No, we're just kind of pissing off the Middle East right now, just because we're going to take over Gaza and make it into a next Vegas trip.
I mean, yeah, I am just
Appalled.
I mean, I know what they're doing. I know what they're doing. They've been saying that they want to do this. They've been talking about flooding the zone, flooding the zone, flooding the zone. It's basically getting us to this point where we're so psychologically overwhelmed that we just feel powerless to fight back. And and I see it happening with a lot of people. It's our nervous systems weren't meant for this kind of assault
No,
and bombardment. Every day it's something new. Every day it's a new round of firings. Um, there, I mean, if you hit people in their livelihood, how are they expected to fight back if they're just worried where they're going to pay their bills
but
the
this is
next
the other
day?
thing is they can get to a point where they lose everything and they don't care anymore. See, there's a fine balance. Any dictator that has ever been in power, you have to have a balance. You have to contain the people being oppressed and also motivated at the same time because you got to have that money coming in.
Right,
And if you overwhelm them with false news and false claims and create this complete chaos and break the system, you don't have a system anymore. So there's nothing to lose.
right,
And that's the
right. I mean, Elon Musk,
that's what
yeah,
scares me is because yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Trump. No. He's not my president. I will never, if he came walking down to me, I would not stand up. I would not give him any time of day. Okay? He's not my favorite person in the world, but I would still respect the office. And I will always respect the office. Unfortunately, he has disrespected the office.
right.
You know,
100%. 100%. I mean, we've got him and JD Vance right now literally saying that they are not beholden to, I mean, the courts right now, these aren't just left-wing liberal Obama appointed judges. There's lawyers right now that are quitting that were, I mean, Federalist judges, people appointed by Trump, lawyers appointed by Trump who are quitting in protest, and judges appointed by Trump who are ruling against this. And we've got JD Vance coming out and saying that we have to obey the rule of law.
mhm.
It's these are scary times, and the media, most of the media, is not calling it what it is.
Did you hear his latest tweet when he Apollyon?
Oh no, what's that?
So Apollyon said, I hope I say it right. He's basically, I'm going to outlib it pretty much. But he basically says, one who saves the country, is he a criminal?
Oh yes. it echoes things that Napoleon, Mussolini, and Hitler
Yeah,
have said.
yeah. So,
Yes.
in his mind, as long as he's, quote, saving the country, he's not breaking any rules. He's saving it.
Right. Right.
As he also told all women that he was going to be their, quote, caregiver.
Oh God, that was creepy. That was really
Yes.
wow.
Yeah. Isn't it fun? Isn't it? I don't think America, to be honest with you, there's so many people that are so independent. Americans are so independent, and there's going to be a breaking point, and especially when we get the megas to wake up. When they begin to wake up and they see that they really got screwed by their votes, I'm worried for Trump, and I wish him well, and I do not want anything to happen to him. But like I say, like they say, if you F around, find out.
No kidding.
And that's
I
where we
mean,
are right now. We're finding out. We kind of knew this. You don't have to be some freaking psychic to figure out that we were in the deep shit if he became president, you know?
no. And for the people who said, what's the harm? He already was president once before. What damage can he do? I mean, he has already caused more damage in the last 4 weeks than he did in his entire first 4 years.
The,
And I mean, it's just very sad that a lot of people just they aren't seeing it yet. They aren't seeing right now the long-term ramifications of how this is all going to play out. I mean, once Medicaid and Medicare and Social Security are on the chopping block, um, I mean, right now, just this past week, there's little
Christina,
things happen. Yeah,
we're at the point where married women may lose the right to vote.
tell us a little more about that.
So there's this new bill that has been introduced to the House from a Texan Republican that would basically call the Saves Act, basically saying that we have to prove that we are who we are with our birth certificate. And according to Fox News says that women won't lose their votes, but you have to have your full name. So if my name was Teresa Shiloh, for example, different than my birth certificate, would that mean I could be able to vote or not vote? So it's basically if you learn about it, it's we will also share the links involved, but they're trying to stop immigrants to voting, and
And
that's
that's
fine. That's
already illegal.
already on the books. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, immigrants voting is already illegal, and they've never been able to really drum up the proof of that happening. I mean, sure, is there like maybe like one in a million people where occasionally voter I think they found in the last election there was a guy who was a Republican who's trying to cast a vote for Trump using his dead mom's ballot. So I
Hmm.
mean that's the thing here is I mean non-citizen voting is so rare. Um but right now, I mean, they're just trying to do more things that they can to disenfranchise people who may not vote for Trump.
Hmm.
So,
Well,
yeah,
I heard if they made Canada the 51 state, that we would have the largest blue state that we could ever have.
they would probably then impose something like, oh, new states have to wait,
Yes.
the new state waiting period.
Or they wouldn't be Americans because they'd be Canadians.
Right,
So it would have to be
right.
another whole generation.
I mean, yeah, you're exactly right. The people that would be most likely to have a problem would be married women
Hmm.
whose names have changed from their birth certificate, um, people who don't have as much money, who may not have access to that kind of documentation. Um,
I mean, we live in one,
and I
I
think
mean, we
once,
live on the West Coast. Wildfires are very common to happen. It does not mean that you may have your birth certificate handy because your house completely burns down. We live on the West Coast. This is an actual frightening reality that we live in. Uh-oh, she's frozen. Come back, Christina. Christina? Let's see here. There, we're back.
there we are.
We both got booted off.
Sorry.
They're probably listening to us.
What's that?
I see they're probably listening to us. Oh no, she's frozen
Recording stopped.
again. Well, anyway,
I'm sorry if I froze up there for a moment.
no, I got booted off too.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Very interesting.
They're listening to us. Well, Donald Trump, according to you, said anyone's
So curious.
replaceable. And you're also replaceable too, Donald Trump.
Yeah. So I'm curious to know, since we are spirited politics, I'm having a lot of challenge right now trying to find a greater spiritual lesson in this. Um, I mean, in terms of being more grateful for little things that I have, I recognize that. But in terms of like a bigger picture perspective, do you have any thoughts about what, like a silver lining right now? Do you have any thoughts about that?
Well, I think we have to be, I don't know. I think one of the reasons why we're going through this is because we're the country that influences the most of the world. And unfortunately, I think unfortunately, there are a lot of humans that are learning, let's not do what, let's learn from the United States of America and let's not become them.
Right.
That's, I think, the silver lining. That I think at the end of the day, we're such a young country that there's a lot of this, all of our cousins of Europe, they have gone through this eventually, and it just happens to be our lucky opportunity to go through this. Germany has gone through this. Poland has gone through this. England has gone through this. They have learned the hard way, and now it's our opportunity to learn from this. Because of our, and this is another thing, is I think is because of our country was so we were founded in such a violent way that we took land that was not ours. We treated the natives like shit. We had slavery. We were such a violent colony that we have to heal. We have to come to reckons with this. Boy, isn't that exciting?
I am just hoping that the reckoning doesn't come before we've completely lost our democracy.
I think at the end of the day, I think the thing that Trump and Elon are finding is that you can't really kill the democracy. You cannot kill the American spirit. The American spirit is encoded in all of us to be independent, to be free, and you can't take a free person and make him into a slave, you know? And I think that's even if they destroyed or completely destroyed Washington, completely destroyed everything that we hold dear, we will rise again. We will come back together. We will, there's more of us than them.
I am hoping that we see that in our lifetime.
I think, I think we will. We've had, think about this, we've had such wonderful years with Biden. Some people would argue, but it was so peaceful. It was so, you didn't have to wake up in the morning and find out what the hell is happening in Washington.
Amen.
You know, that you kind of knew that I mean, Biden wasn't perfect. No one's perfect. There's never going to be a leader that's perfect, but Biden meant to do well. He did not have complete hate. This is the president that did treason against his own country, and
Yeah.
he's in the White House. And he is continuing to do treason against well, according to me. I personally, my own opinion is I believe that he is doing treason against our country today.
Yeah.
When a president says one who saves the country cannot be charged with crimes.
He's putting himself above the law.
Hmm.
And sadly, the law has never stepped up enough to make him believe in consequences. I genuinely don't think he's ever faced a real consequence in his life.
Yeah. And the problem is that maybe Trump has, he cannot be arrested or he cannot be, charged with a crime because he's the president right now. But who can be? Elon, JD Vance.
Right.
He could get a pardon. He can get a pardon. Yes, he can. But if he's impeached, you know what I mean? If the perfect storm happens at the same time that we could impeach Trump and arrest Elon, then and JD Vance, then that would happen.
Well, and I think it's just going to take a lot of people really waking up and seeing what's going on. I mean, for example, all the claims about USAID fraud, waste, abuse, so many of the claims that they've put forth um, are false. And I don't think a lot of people realize how many millions of dollars US farmers provide to US aid. So it's a program that puts money back into our own economy, back into the American farmer. And farmers are going to lose money. They could go bankrupt from that. And what would happen if those farmers go bankrupt because US aid is no longer buying their crop? Their land gets bought up cheap by very wealthy people who then
Oh,
control the food supply.
And who wants the land right now? Who would like to develop our land?
Right.
You know, I think that I think Trump had to be in office because if we didn't, we would have had civil war. And in a way, this is almost better than civil war.
Hmm.
Like how many of us sent light and prayers to Harris, you know? And maybe because we sent so much light to her that she didn't win. Because personally, I wouldn't want my worst enemy to be in charge of this country right now.
No. And I mean it's the American people that are going to suffer. And primarily the the really ironic thing is, I mean, red states, the states that were most likely to vote for Trump, they're going to get hit the hardest by this. I mean,
Yeah.
right now they're campaigning on defunding the Department of Education, defunding public schools, defunding Head Start. Um, I mean, if they eliminate the Department of Education and its funding, that's that's $500 million in meals for children that could starve. And when we have people out here, congressmen who literally saying, "Well, you could get a job. I had a job when I was a kid." Are they expecting 6, 7, 8-year-old starving children to go get jobs so that they don't have to starve? I mean, the lack of humanity is appalling, especially from people who call themselves pro-life. And if you call yourself pro-life, but yet you are opposed to funding that will keep children from starving, you're not pro-life.
No, you're pro money.
Yeah, you're pro-birth because it means controlling and keeping people down. I mean, I just, right now, so many of these Christians, they need to go back and reread their Bibles.
Yes, they do. Unfortunately, they've taken capitalist Jesus and made into a Taliban, you know, because when we have people saying, well, what happens if Canada gets mad at us and they turn off the power? And they say, well, Jesus didn't have power. Well, I'm no Jesus. I like
I'd
my
like to,
power.
I would love to see the person who actually said that try to go without power and see when it happens to her how she feels about that. So
Yeah.
let's start with her. Let's cut her power, see how she does without it, see what happens when she's
I
not
would
able
sell her
to,
golden cross to get power.
right? I mean, it's just ugh, the hypocrisy nowadays is astounding, and it's sad. It's a stark illustration of why people are losing their faith, why people are not believing in a good, kind, and loving God, why people are leaving the church in droves because they're seeing this
Mhm.
and they're saying, if this is what this means, I don't want to be any part of that.
Mhm. That's so true, Christina. We just have to take every day and we just have to be thankful.
Yeah.
Okay? And just know and trust that God has our back.
Do you have a card to pull for this week?
Yes, let's do that. All right. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, hurry.
Okay.
Oh, oh,
Okay,
oh, oh,
spirits,
oh, here we
shed some light
go.
on this shit show. That one looks like it flew out of the deck. Oh,
Did
acceptance. Oh me, oh my.
what?
Oh, acceptance.
Yes. Acceptance. Isn't that per look at the color. Look at how it's like a white hen and a dark hen.
Wow.
Accepting our faith, coming together with spirit within us, with a spark of
Yeah.
light.
Maybe calling a spade and being like, hey, this is what's really happening. We can no longer pretend that it isn't. It's like the serenity prayer,
It
you
is.
know, accept the things that I'm paraphrasing poorly right now, but once you accept, then you have the courage to change things.
Yes, that is a powerful accepting,
Mm,
knowing, and the next card just happened to fall. Trust,
trust.
trust. Here.
Can you hold it back just a little bit? There you go. Perfect. Oh, It's kind
Yeah,
of funny that it's got some birds in it.
it does.
Trust, trust the bird flu.
And egg too. It literally has an egg. Oh God,
Oh
you
my
have no sense of
gosh.
humor for us.
Wow.
And it
Wow.
was very spirited. I look forward to our politics when it's not so spirited.
Too, actually. I look forward to life being boring. I just, I would really like to have a boring day. And I mean, it's to all the people in the world right now who have it so much worse because they do not have this color of skin, because they do not have a roof over their head. They may be worried about ICE coming for them or police coming after them. My heart just goes out to all of those people right now who do not have the privilege that I do to be speaking out and letting my voice be heard.
Amen, sister. Well, once again, have a wonderful day and thank you for joining Spirited.
Politics.
Bye bye.